Good morning and warm welcome of everybody. The world markets are finding difficulties to hold at higher levels, mainly due to sustained rise in the bond yields. It was at one point of time quoting at 1.75 and currently it is trading at 1.72. Technically, it has biggest hurdle at 1.77 and we need to be cautiously optimistic about its reversal that can give some stability to emerging markets. What I mean to say is that from 1.75, 1.77, we may see some reversal, I mean to say downward activity in the bond yield. Whether the bond yield has hit the resistance level or not, that we need to see for next few days. But one thing is very clear, that we are at crucial resistance level in terms of bond yields. Even if we correlate that with crude prices, then yesterday we saw a quick sell off in crude from the level Brent crude from the highs of 69 to 63, and both these bond yield and crude prices are directly correlated. So it clearly shows that we may see some pause sort of activity in bond yield prices. On Thursday, on the day of weekly expiry, Nifty broke important support area at 14,700, where the market has spent a lot of time, and went to the levels of 14,470 in a very short span of time. It closed below the level of 14,600, which is negative for the market, and we could see the levels of either 14,400 or 14,300. Singapore Nifty is trading 110 points down from its if we compare that with its previous close. For the day, for short-term traders, the strategy should be to look for creating or adding some short positions if market breaks the level of 14,450. Keep in mind that 14,450 acted as major support in the month of February when the market was down, and from there it recovered back. So in the month of March also we are seeing some stability or some sort of buying attraction close to 14,470 460 levels, and yesterday we saw some recovery from that particular level, and that is why we are of the view that in case if we see today the market is breaking 14,450, then we can expect further more weakness, and in that case we may see the levels of either 14,400 or 14,300. But if we and which is like the range for the short term traders. But for the day, as we mentioned, it's a strategy for short term traders to create short positions below 14,450, but for medium term traders and investors, our advice is to look for adding some out of money call options for the month of April. The reason is because 14,400, 14,300 is going to act as major support for the market, based on option data as well as based on technicals. So markets are going to enter into that deeply oversold area if we see the market is heading or falling between the levels of 14.4 14.3 levels. So the ideal strategy should be to look for adding out of money call options for the month of April. We are not taking short term call on it because we are expecting rebound after hitting maybe 14,300 levels. For bank nifty also it has broken important level, but for the getting any specific direction about bank nifty, we need to focus on nifty very first, and that is why we are targeting or we are closing we are tracking nifty closely. Also for investors, short term or medium term investors, our advice is to look for adding index heavyweight stocks, top 10 top 3 index heavyweight stocks between the levels of 14.4 14.3, because if there is any reversal, then we can expect very first activity in index heavyweight stocks. Option data is, as we mentioned, that it's suggesting us that we are going to enter into deeply oversold area below the levels of 14.4, and that's why if we see the PCR put call ratio of the current month, then it is at 0.86. So in case if we see that ratio turns to 0.7 or 0.65, then it will have a specific indication that markets are turning oversold. If we see the FIS figure, then they are net buyers since last 2-3 days, even though the market is falling, but we are seeing a lot of bulk deals or block deals between this period, and that is why maybe the reaction or that activity or that momentum is not coming in the market. But otherwise, if we see the trend of dollar index, then it is still range bound between the levels of 93 and 91, which is some sort of like relief for emerging markets. In case if we see rally in dollar index, then only we can expect outflow. Otherwise, we are not expecting major outflow. From the IT basket, we like Infosys, which is currently trading at 1340, 1350. Yesterday, we saw some a huge amount of profit taking in all IT companies, and that is why we saw a crack in the market. But otherwise, if we take the view of next 1 month, then we are of the view that we should look for adding Tech Mahindra and Infosys to our trading portfolio, positional portfolio. And from the auto basket, where we are seeing some activity on the back of scrappage policy, there we are focusing on Hero Motors, Tata Motors, Maruti, as well as Escorts. But if there is a medium term view, then we should focus more and more on Escorts. That's all from my side for the day. With this, I am ending today's morning podcast. Thank you very much for listening in, and have a great day and nice weekend to all of you.